Hi guys, my name's Ollie Hammond. I'm an investment manager at Fuel Ventures. Fuel Ventures is a London-based fund. We are based in London, but we are not geographically constrained to London. Very specifically, we're an SEIS and EIS fund. Our SEIS fund does tickets up to 150,000. Our EIS fund anywhere from 500,000 to 2.5 million as part of our initial ticket. For that, we are quite an active investor. We are a lead investor by our very nature. We always like to take investor director seats and board seats into the companies we invest into. And we're super hands-on for the first 12 to 18 months, especially until the company goes and raises Series A. At that point, generally a Series A investor comes in and may take up that mantle, but we do still like to be involved with our companies. Our investment remit is relatively diverse. Our official remit is that we look at marketplaces, platforms, and SaaS model businesses, both B2B and B2C. If we look at it on a sector by sector basis, we're still relatively agnostic. There's a couple of sectors we don't look at, and the key ones that we don't really look at are, at the moment, crypto and tokenization. We don't look at hardware businesses with heavy IP, and generally, we're not looking at medtech, biotech, and pharmaceutical. They are areas that require a lot of experience that we don't necessarily have. Apart from that, we're super broad. We have 44 companies in our portfolio, and they come from a whole range of different sectors, anything from e-commerce, B2B enterprise software, fintech, marketing tech, and everything in between. We were started back in 2014. We were started by a guy called Mark Pearson. Mark was the founder of a company called My Voucher Codes, which was a marketplace, an online marketplace for vouchers and experiences, kind of like the precursor to Groupon and Honey here in the UK. Mark ran that very successfully, and he exited in 2014. He never raised any external capital, so he was 100% shareholder of that business when he sold. He was also a very active angel investor at that point as well, and he invested into a couple of very large UK tech companies at the time. Once he'd exited My Voucher Codes, he decided to set up Fuel Ventures, and Fuel Ventures is still a very key part of his portfolio. Mark is very actively involved in the day-to-day running, but he also makes up about 10% of all the funds that we deploy. So as a GP, he's very exposed to the companies within our portfolio. We've been invested since 2016, so we're still a relatively young fund, but like I said, we've got 44 companies in the portfolio now, and so we're gathering experience all the time. If we look at some of those companies have now gone on to do really well. I think some of the key ones at the moment that are doing super well, we've got OnBuy, an online e-commerce marketplace. We've got Heroes, an Amazon FBA aggregator. We've got Vault, an open banking payments platform, and we've got a load of others as well, all of whom are super, doing well, and growing fast. Like I said, I'm the investment manager. Our investment team is relatively small. You have myself as an investment manager, you have Shiv Patel, who's also an investment manager, and you have Mark. That's on our EIS side. On our SEIS side, we have Alice, Tom, and Alex, who help us run that fund. So we're a relatively small investment team, and that means we're really actively involved in all the companies that we invest into. My background is that before I was at Fuel, I spent 3.5 years at a platform called Syndicate Room, which was at the time a crowdfunding platform based up in Cambridge, but has since moved on to be a co-investment fund. And I think they're doing that still relatively successfully. At that time, I was looking at opportunities that Syndicate Room investors were investing in, so I spent 3.5 years doing that. Prior to that, I spent about 6 months at a startup company, a very early stage startup company, which unfortunately didn't work out, but it wasn't mine, and it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot from that experience. I learned a lot from watching it sort of go under, as it were. And then before that, I was at a company called Svenska Handelsbanken, which was a bank in London. That's where I went after university. Fantastic bank, fantastic people. They're Scandinavian, they're from Sweden, so they look after you very well, but just not the job for me. In terms of what we're looking for, we are looking for the UK's and the world's. I mean, we are an EIS fund, but we do have companies from outside of the UK that qualify as well. We are looking for the most ambitious founders. We want founders that come to us looking to build unicorn businesses. We don't want founders that come to us with ambitions really smaller than that. Not because that there aren't great businesses out there that are 50 or 150 million pound businesses, but because they just don't really fit with our investment within our investment remit. And it's super important that we're aligned with all the people that we invest in. So we're looking for the world's most ambitious founders, looking to revolutionize and change international multi-billion pound markets, and looking to build the biggest businesses they can with the biggest impact. It really is that simple. It sounds like a very broad criteria, and I'm sure there's loads of people out there that fit that criteria, but we really need to get a feeling that what we're investing in is something special. we do start to look at revenue and things like that. We don't have any official criteria around it. We can look at pre-revenue businesses, but the majority of the businesses from the EIS fund are going to be companies doing somewhere between 10,000 and 100,000 in monthly revenue. SEIS is a little bit different. We're happy to look at MVP products and pre-revenue businesses a little bit more in that stage, obviously because it's a smaller ticket and it's designed to be at a slightly earlier stage. The companies within our SEIS fund then do get fed through to our EIS fund, and we absolutely expect that our EIS fund is going to do some investments into some of those companies as well. Our EIS fund is not exclusively for companies that come through our SEIS fund, but we do expect there's going to be a lot of cross collaboration there. I think that's it really. That's me, that's Fuel Ventures. If you do have any questions at all, if you do want to reach out, you can go through the Fuel Ventures website, fuel.ventures. We do have an application on there where you can reach out to us directly and tell us about your business. Likewise, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm just under Ollie Hammond, OLI. I spell it the laziest way I possibly can. Feel free to reach out, feel free to connect, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, bye.